does that even mean, Bowers getting the corner?
Ahoy there!
YouTube, we're back again for another Thoughts from the Corner. I'm here with my friends Lucy and Adam.
Yep.
And they're part of my game night. And we're going to be talking about Paranormal Detectives from Lucky Duck Games, which Lucy just put down. And before we get started, this if you're enjoying what we're doing, please be sure to click on the Patreon down below and support the channel any way you can. It really does help. But right now, Paranormal Detectives is a new one from Lucky Duck Games in which one person is going to be dead. And they are going to have a card which looks like this, which is going to have a short story. It's going to have their body and where they're bleeding. And it's going to tell you who did it, why, who killed the person, why this person died, where this person died, how the person died, and the weapon that killed the person. And then everyone else at the table is going to be competitively trying to figure out how the person, who the ghost, how everything about the ghost. And one person is actually going to be the ghost. They're going to be playing cards out of their hands, which will say, the person can pantomime something, so they can act it out, or they can mouth one word, or they can draw on someone's back. And everyone is going to be looking at these clues that the ghost is giving, because on your turn, you're going to ask a direct question that's not a yes or no question to the ghost. The ghost is going to answer for everybody to see, and you're going to have this little cheat sheet where you're frantically writing down all this information, trying to figure it out. We won't go too much more in depth. I'm sure we'll be talking more about it in the video. But this is Paranormal Detectives. We'll start down with Adam, I guess. What did you think about the game?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really interesting, the variety of things that the ghost had to do to explain what was like to give us information, and because it was so varied, it's like even if the person who was giving it wasn't good at a certain thing, like you're gonna come around to something else that they maybe they're really good at twisting the ropes into a certain shape, or they're you can really see what they're saying with their mouth. You know, like,
I think there's a great
but they can't pantomime for crap. You know, I like the variance in it, and I think that gives you a lot of opportunities to be good at something.
Yes, and there are 9, at least I believe there are 9 different things that the ghost is going to be doing differently each time. And everybody has different cards, even though you don't feel really asymmetrical. I don't want to go
it's
that far.
It's not too much of a difference, but there is just it's like some people had like the tarot cards, which were fun, but like some people had like the little meter thing where it's like with the little symbols on it.
But we'll go more in depth. But what did you think about the game, though?
Oh, I really liked it a lot. It's a mystery. I'm always a sucker for mystery games, and like with this one especially, it was definitely like more interactive. Like I like how the stories that you were saying were like more than just like who, what, where, when, and how. It was just like there was like a little bit of a backstory. Yeah. It gave a little. It also helped too, because I'm guessing because like when you're doing like pantomiming, we asked like odd questions like what was the scene like when you died, and you're like, oh, how was it? You're able to, like, with the little blurb it gives you, you're able to, like, sort of act it out.
It feels like a real story. It feels like you're actually putting together the story. You feel like a detective. You really do. And I love this game. I'm close to giving it Bowers Best Seal. Because, like I said, it plays competitive, but it also plays cooperative. And I'm playing it in my classroom with the kids. And big ups to Lucky Duck Game, because they've very clearly delineated whether or not it is an adult scenario or a kid scenario, because I guess some deal with we had one that deals with drugs, and there's some that deal with sex, and we had one tonight that we thought dealt with sex, and I was fixated on the fact.
You thought it had to do with sex.
Well, there was blood around the genitals, and
there wasn't.
It was right there.
It was on the torso.
And really, when you said that, he moved it up to be more like the
no, I kept moving it down.
Like, no, yeah, you kept putting it there.
I thought you were just
joking.
Were
the one
that
no, he asked before, are there going to be some inappropriate ones? Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is going to be an inappropriate one. He put it on the penis.
He moved it like 3 times, and you kept putting it back.
You
were obsessed with the penis.
But it is cooperative, and it is competitive. But I will say, if you're looking at this as a cooperative game, I played it with the kids in my class that were around 8, 9, 10 years old. I think you'd probably want to bump it up just a little bit. They can play it, but as I told them, they're going to be terrible at it. But luckily with the cooperative, it does make it work out. It is 2 to 6 players, but the one thing that I think would make me not go as hot on it and give it a Bowers Best Seal, because I absolutely love this game. Like, this is immediately going into my collection, and I can see this hitting the table quite a good deal, is there can be some downtime between turns, especially when you're first learning. And
because the biggest thing that was like a big hurdle for me, at least, was just like you can't ask yes or no questions.
Yes.
And like it's like some reverse psychology where like now I can only think of yes or no questions.
And given time, you're gonna figure out like those good questions to ask. But like going into it, it was like constantly like I just wanted a yes or no question. And for a while, we were just doing like, how did you die? Why did you die? You know, like
we're asking the actual like questions.
Occasionally, that's helpful, but honestly, when we ask things like, what was the scene like where you died? Like, that was much more helpful than some of those direct, like, why, how, what questions.
One thing that I really loved about this game that you guys didn't get to see, actually, was playing as the ghost versus playing as the detective is a drastically different experience. Because the ghost wants to help everybody. There's no secret trade or anything like that. The ghost is like, I want someone to win because they win when they win. But when you're the ghost, it can be really frustrating, and you can just be like, God, why are you asking me these stupid questions? It's like, how do I feel? Give me tarot cards to tell me how you feel. Like, what the hell?
Or it's like we have to like give him like this horrible cards like, hey, describe your emotions but with the rope.
Yeah.
But it leads to funny situations, and sometimes it actually works out.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that the ghost has those 3 extra cards. I think those are really crucial, where it's like, I think they're close, but I could just kind of lube the deal a little bit more by using one of these cards.
Clarify it and definitely bring them way closer to figuring it out.
Now it is 2 to 6 players. I have not played it at 2 players. I would be interested to see how that would work. It'd be a different game.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I'd really want to play it 2 players, to be honest with you. I just feel like it's better at the higher player counts, because the downtime between turns when people are thinking of questions, I think, is the worst part of the game.
Yeah.
But on other people's turns, I'm actively engaged. I want, because
you
it's
have to
valuable.
be.
Yeah.
Because like I remember one time like you had to pantomime something, and like that was the one time I looked to turn down, and I'm like, oh god, no.
Well, you should have told
even
me.
just listening to people talk, like sometimes they might drop some kind of
Yes,
hint.
and that's the game in the game.
Yeah, so like even though it's another player that's trying to also figure it out, maybe they already figured that somebody fell. Like they say that out loud, and
like
they don't realize that everyone else hasn't figured it out.
Like when you did your guess, I did not. I had like you gave me so much. I
yeah.
pretty much stole your idea.
Yep.
I was way
Thank
off,
you.
and I'm like,
I-
okay.
I knew I would pitch it in one way.
And just a heads up, we got they've played this twice now. We played this twice tonight. I played it I think 5 times grand total. The other thing I want to mention is that I feel like this game would be better. Something you mentioned kind of clicked this. I think this kind of game that the more you played it with the same group or with the same people, the game's going to get better.
Yeah.
There's going to be some meta game. There's going to be gaming the game, or maybe
For sure, and it'll go faster.
Yes, because you'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
able to think of
absolutely.
like questions that like, because like if you're not getting something, or like if you're missing something, like if you're 1 point away, or like what did I not get, and then you're able to like sort of narrow it down better and like.
When there's a
Ask better
huge stack of
questions.
cards that are the stories, but also
the app.
you could just make up your own story.
Yeah, you can make it up. And there's an app which I have not even downloaded yet, which I guess there's a whole bunch of stories on as well. I do need to get that app. Maybe it makes like some creepy music. Maybe it gives a timer. I think the other thing about this game is Lucky Duck Games does a really good job of supporting their games as well, with like Vikings Gone Wild and some of the other stuff, where I have a feeling that if this got popular, the game's only going to get better with expansions. Like, the more different ways the ghosts can communicate, the better this game is going to get, because that's just so much fun, the different ways, you're never quite sure. And there'll be like a perfect question for the perfect card, but they'll give you the wrong card, and I think that's a lot of fun. And I think...
Well, as the person trying to decide, like, okay, this is the information I want. How do I gain that information using the cards that I have, and
But without telling
figure
other
out the
people.
proper question to ask? Like, it can be really like, I mean, there were times when I was like, God, I know there's a good way to ask this, but I just don't know what it is. You know.
Now, this is another point that a lot of people are not going to like. There's player elimination, and you were actually eliminated relatively early in the second game. So what was that like,
Right.
sitting out being a loser?
It was it was still fine, because like I was still able to say things like, that's why I was so far off, even though I had got 4 out of the 5 right. So like that could throw you guys off. Like, it's part of that metagaming. Like, you're not totally out of it.
Yes, that's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
You want to explain a little bit how that works? You want me to?
What's that?
How you're not out of the game when you're eliminated.
Oh
You can
yeah.
still just
So
talk and contribute, but
if it goes, if everybody does their 2 guesses, or you go through all the cards.
Well,
everybody
let's
has-
pause there. I don't think I mentioned that at all. You get 2 guesses grand total in the game. So after you ask a question, you get to guess if you would like who, when, where, all the stupid W questions. And then the ghost is going to secretly tell you how many you got correct by writing it down. If that number is the highest number that anybody gets, and you're the first person to get that number, and nobody gets the mystery correct, you win flat out. And you almost did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were the last person.
I got it on the very last one, 5 out of 5, but you would have won despite the fact you were eliminated probably 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
a while you were out, though. But
Yeah.
did you
No, I felt engaged. Like, I still enjoyed everything that was going on. I mean, it's still interesting to see what he's doing. And plus, I really didn't know what the final answer was. So, like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
even though, like, I'm out, I don't just walk over and read the card or whatever.
So in the end, I think we're all fans.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I like this game a lot.
Paranormal Detectives, Lucky Duck Games. I believe it's out now or coming out soon. I think this is great. And I think this is not what I was expecting. Like when I heard it was like one person was going to be dead and everybody else was trying to figure it out, I'm thinking like Mysterio. I'm thinking like Dixon or something like that. This is nothing at all like that. And
I think it
it's
could easily replace it though. Like for me, like I definitely want to play this before like Mysterium. But it's also like
I agree completely.
It's less abstract, for sure.
Oh yeah. The stories. The stories are good too. The stories are interesting.
like if you love mystery games, like this is definitely like one I think you're gonna like with like a who done it. Like you're still figuring it out, and yeah.
Yes, and I thought the figuring out was fun. The figuring out was fun. The stories were fun. Like mine, I gotta like punch a cop. It was good stuff. But that's Paranormal Detectives from Lucky Duck Games. Not endorsing punching a cop, but it made it. It was interesting to pantomime. It was good to pantomime. It was entertaining. Let me rephrase that. So there you go. Paranormal Detectives from Lucky Duck Games. If it looks like it might be a cup of tea, be sure to check that one out. Really cool game. If you're enjoying what we're doing, click on the subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know when's the last time you talked to a police officer.
When was the last time you punched a cop in the face?
And why was the last time you talked to a police officer?
Ooh, a couple of weeks ago, somebody stole my bike, but I got it back.
That's right.
Oh.
Somebody did steal your bike. Thoughts and prayers.
It worked.
yeah.
What about you, Lucy?
Mainly that was back when I was in high school. I just saw a cop every day. But that's because I was at Southside, and yeah,
Lucy's a good person.
I'm a good person.
I got pulled over a couple weeks ago and got a sound warning because my car is stupidly loud because there's a fan belt and I bought a cheap fan belt. And yeah, I'm not fixing that. So hopefully they don't pull me over again. But let me know in the comments when's the last time you spoke to a cop and why. And as always, thanks for your time.